Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we are going to do a review for Sniper Elite VR, a game released on the Steam Store and the Oculus Store, July 8th, 2021 by publisher Rebellion and developer Just Add Water. Sniper Elite VR is available for all the major VR headsets. It normally retails for $30. I actually bought this from a third-party website and I saved myself $5 by doing that. I tested this game out on the Oculus Quest 2 using the Oculus Link cable. Sniper Elite VR is a stealth action World War II first-person shooter with a single story campaign that is cut up into 18 missions. It took me approximately 13 hours to complete the campaign, but I did have to repeat several of the missions in order to get enough stars in order to be able to unlock the last 2 or 3 missions available in the game. My feelings after completing the game were one of relief and disappointment. There are good parts to Sniper Elite VR. I did have fun at times, but this game does have several issues which keeps it from being a truly enjoyable experience, and that is a shame. Sniper Elite VR is running on the Unity engine. On my RTX 3080, I was getting a steady 90 frames per second for the most part, although I did have several frame rate drops at times. I did have the game set to high graphical settings, and I did enjoy the visuals. There were some complaints, some negative Steam reviews mentioning how this is a Quest port and these are scaled down graphics. I did not see that personally. I thought the graphics looked good, but obviously the graphics here aren't great either. They're not Half-Life Alyx type graphics for VR. I thought the environmental detail was top notch. However, some of the character models could have been more varied and had more detail to them. And the weapon models here could have been better as well. The sounds of the game also could have been better. I would have liked to have seen better spatial audio for this game, so you could sort of like hear where enemies are and kind of hear what direction the bullets are being fired from. The sounds here are okay, they're just not great. Sound design is very important in VR. It's a good way to gauge where enemies are, and it makes it more immersive when you can hear that spatial audio. I would think it's truly terrifying to hear a bullet whiz by near you, and that's just lacking in this game. Now you do have full locomotion and smooth and snap turning available in this game, along with teleportation, and there's also several comfort modes available. The problem that a lot of people have with this game is that currently there is a button to crouch, but you cannot crouch down in real life and have the game respawn accordingly. The other problem with this game is that there's vignettes in this game comfort mode that you cannot turn off at times. When you crouch down, you will have a vignette vertically and that'll go on and off on its own. It's just very weird. It does take the immersion away from the game and it's just not very comfortable at all. And there's also these vignettes that happen anytime there's an explosion near you. And this vignette really doesn't make you feel like an explosion went off nearby. It's just uncomfortable. It's not pleasant, and it's bad game design. I hope developers never do this again in another game. Now, I personally did not like the story in this game, which is odd. I really should have liked the story. It's a story about the Italian resistance in Nazi-occupied Italy, and you know, this is high drama. This is life and death struggle for freedom. You're part of the resistance, the partisans. This is very high stakes, and so this should be a compelling story. However, the story is broken up in a very odd manner. You're basically now an old man and you're recollecting your war stories from the past. This makes the story feel very disjointed. You basically have a book in front of you and you're just flipping from page to page with very small audio tidbits in between. It's really hard to keep up with the story with the way that it's being told. And I've seen this storytelling mechanic used in movies to create effect, like in Titanic. However, the way it's done in this game is just so broken. This game really needed a better director in order to be able to tell its story. I feel like this should be a good story, but the way it's told is just very confusing, and at the end of the day you just don't care because you're just thrown into missions and you're giving these very odd sub-missions that you have to complete in order to get those stars that the overarching story kind of doesn't matter at all. And that's a big shame because the story here should be a big draw for the experience and for VR. You know, you're inside this story. It should mean something to you, but it never meant anything to me at all at any point during this campaign. I really did not like the star system this game has. So for each mission, you can get up to 3 stars. You get 1 star for automatically completing the mission, and then you can get another star for stuff like completing the mission in under 10 minutes, or getting over 4,000 points, or getting so many kills with a certain type of gun. Unfortunately, I found a lot of these sub missions for getting stars to take away from the experience, because you are so cognizant that yes, I do need to get the star and I need to break what I'm doing to make sure that I achieve that goal. It takes away from the fun, especially since some of these sub missions are actually not that easy at all to complete, and you need to be focused in order to get them. And it takes away from your overarching mission, and that just shouldn't happen in your single story campaign, especially not on your first playthrough. And there's also several technical issues with this game. I've mentioned that this game only has push a button to crouch and the comfort modes vignettes that automatically happen, but probably the biggest issue for me was that outside of the sniper rifle, most of the other guns felt inferior and not really fun to use at all. They're just not really feasible to use at various times in the game. So you do have to use a sniper rifle, but in those instances where you're not using your sniper rifle, the weaknesses of the other weapons becomes very obvious, and it's pretty clear that these other weapons are only situational. Basically, if you're in close quarter combat, you can get away with using these other weapons, but other than that, you really can't use them. They just don't have the range, they don't have the accuracy that you need in order to take out enemies the way this game is structured. So the missions are very structured. The game obviously wants you to play it a certain way, and if you try to go counter to that, you are punished by the game design, by the level design. And while the sniping is fun in this game, for the most part, there are also some technical issues with the sniper rifle. I had the problem when I looked down my scope that it would just tilt from side to side just randomly at times, so it'd make me lose my target. And I also have a quibble with the scope sway. Now your scope will sway just a little bit, which makes sense. I'm sure that happens in real life, so you got to do your focus ability. My problem is that it's like a little red reticle that's in there, and versus that, I would have just preferred for the scope to steady itself when you slow down your breathing, which is normal in these types of games. I would have taken out that little red square reticle in there that comes up when you're focused. I also wasn't a big fan of the enemy AI. They did some odd things. They would see a dead body and then they would go back to their normal patrol duties. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. And sometimes they spot you from a very large distance even though you haven't really done anything, and sometimes you'll shoot right in front of them and they'll just resume with their normal patrol duties. It's just very odd AI. Plus, they very seldom try to flank you. I wasn't a fan of the VR interactions in this game. You basically have magnet hands in order to pick up objects at a distance, which is fine when it works, but I found it to be very inconsistent. I just found the interactions and the locomotion here to be a little on the janky side. Not too bad, but it is noticeable the longer that you play this game. Now, you do have manual reloads as an option, and you do have a belt holster where you can stow all your weapons, and you do have explosives as well. I wasn't a big fan of the way the explosives here are implemented. Basically, for grenades and stuff like that, you push a button to actually throw them, and the game will show you a highlight of the trajectory, and the sad part is it's not even accurate. It often didn't go the way the game was telling me it would go. The last thing I want to mention about this game, my last criticism, is maybe not a big thing, but it did affect my gameplay. When I was playing, it was very easy to, instead of click on load last checkpoint, to click on restart, and twice during this game I clicked restart by accident. It's very easy to do. I hope the developers change the UI for this game. It's pretty bad. So overall, I did have fun while playing this game, but I was also very disappointed. The sniping is fun, but it could be better, and everything else just felt subpar. So if I have to rate Sniper Elite VR, I would give it a 6 out of 10. I think it is worthy of a positive recommendation because it does have more than your average VR game. However, it has lots of negatives that really weigh down the experience and keep it from being good. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. If you liked my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the video.